There's only like 3 ways to become popular: to be a cheerleader, to work at Abercrombie, or to let guys go in the back door.
What?
Oh, God, I must be really popular then.
What?
Nothing.
Anyways.
Hey guys, we just saw Senior Year on Netflix.
That's right, everybody. Is watching a movie about a 37-year-old repeating her senior year worth repeating? Stick around, 'cause we're about to find out.
All right, guys, Senior Year. Billy, who's in this movie?
All right, man, we got Rebel Wilson.
Oh,
Pitch Perfect. You know,
I love her in some Pitch Perfect.
It's kind of like another one of those fat Amy roles for her, except she ain't so fat
a
anymore.
little Australian
Yeah.
accent for this. Kind of
Yeah,
odd, but you know.
Yeah. We got our boy Sam Richardson from Werewolves Within. You
I
know,
love
like him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love him in everything he's
that
in.
dude's awesome. You know,
What
he's
have
on
you
Comedy
seen him in
Central.
that you love him?
He was in Veep, and I really loved him in Veep.
He was in Veep?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in Veep,
I
yeah.
loved
Yeah.
him in Veep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Werewolves Within, that other one with the like aliens and
Yeah, the
stuff.
Future War
Yeah.
kind of
Future
thing
War,
in
yeah.
Netflix with
I've
Chris
not,
Pratt.
I have not
Yeah, good
not
actor.
enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's good.
Sam Richardson's a good actor. I love that
I
dude.
could use more of him. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got Chris Parnell, you know, former Saturday Night Live alum. You know, he does pretty. And what's funny is, like, you know, he's normally a funny dude, but in this one, he's really not playing a funny role.
No, I love him in this
Yeah, he
because
does a great
initially
job.
he's
Does a good
working
job.
at
Blockbuster,
Blockbuster.
that was great. Yeah, that was
And
pretty
then
great.
later on, when she wakes up from the coma, he's working at Best Buy, and I
yeah.
thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Same color though, right? So blue shirt for
Yeah.
both.
How he's affording all this off the salary, I don't know.
Yeah, and we had Alicia Silverstone cameo for about 2 seconds. That was kind of cool there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of movie for her, I guess, right? So,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of these movies, you're probably a fan of Alicia Silverstone. So,
And then we had a bunch of younger kids, like in their teens and early 20s in this.
Don't forget Justin Hartley.
Oh, yeah, Justin Hartley. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you go ahead, Ash. You talking about
That's-
things.
Yeah,
you're
I
the
like
super
Justin-
fan.
you like
man.
Justin
I
Hartley,
do
go
like
ahead.
Justin Hartley.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember Justin Hartley from his Passion days. Like people probably don't even know he was on a daytime soap opera called Passion.
He was on a couple soap operas.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
But he's on This Is Us, is where most people know him from now.
Good looking dude.
Yeah.
And that's what the role he plays in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
the hot dad who's kind of a two-timer.
Well, see, the thing is, like, he was kind of her fling when she was in high school, even
not-
though I guess she's still in high school.
Not her fling. She was her high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Because,
But the thing is, he looks dreamy now more so than when he was a kid in this, and then Rebel Wilson's kind of the opposite
exact
a little
opposite,
bit.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, you wake up from being in a coma for 20 years on a feeding tube, and you weigh a lot more than you did before you went in a coma. I don't
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but
I don't
you know,
either.
I'm rolling with
But-
it.
She asked,
But-
what were you
but-
putting in my feeding tube?
Yeah, they did bring that
That's
up
because
for
of
a
her
minute.
boobs, though. She's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you know what you feed me?
Dad! What the F? Who's in charge of my feeding tube? My boobs are huge.
But now on the flip side, the Rebel Wilson has lost a ton of weight, so, you know,
Yeah.
good on her. You know, so.
She was great in this role, I thought.
Oh, she
Yeah.
was, yeah. No, this role is definitely good for her, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I thought they did a really good job with the girl who played the young version of her.
Yeah, that chick was
She was
awesome.
in from
Yeah, they both
Spider-Man,
were
but
good.
Yeah.
she, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
she is
felt,
from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good. I could see that person becoming this person.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you know,
no.
look wise, and then the acting wise, as far as their behavior and their temperament.
No, I
That-
agree.
that
I
matched pretty
think
well.
they picked the perfect person for both those roles.
Yeah.
You know, the young her and her.
And this is kind of cool because they have like skater boy music, like Avril Lavigne
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So it kind of brings you back to
to the 90s
like the
and
late
late
90s,
90s,
early
2000s.
2000s.
Oh, and I love when
and
they
stuff.
walked into her room because he didn't change her room. So you've got the NSYNC poster,
Yeah,
you got
Clueless.
the Britney Spears poster, and then he apparently never stopped her magazine. So like she's got this magazine with Lady Gaga, and she's like, "So Madonna changed her name?"
You're like,
No.
but-
Well,
They're like,
we've got
"Yeah,
a lot
that's
to
some of
explain.
them," but she looks just like Madonna.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed a lot of the, you know, just kind of the flashbacks to the early 2000s. So they had
Yeah, because the movie starts off where she's in the past, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. And her friend's like, yeah, having a party. It's open bar. We're going to have all the good shit, Smirnoff Ice, Mike's Hard Lemonade, and all that stuff. So,
Yep.
and they're right.
yeah, that
It's
was
like
your
his
shit.
favorite. Yeah, his favorite drinks
that's what
right
that's
there.
That's my kind of drinks, Billy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, you love yourself some Smirnoff, man. No doubt about it. You're the only,
Beer
per-
or
you're the only,
Smirnoff?
you're the
I'll
only
take
person.
the
You're the only
Smirnoff,
person
thank
I know who can still find that shit. You know, you make sure you eat Smirnoff.
And it's an interesting premise because she was on the cheer squad. They throw her up in the air and they intentionally don't catch her, and she.
But she wasn't on the cheer squad, Josh. She was the cheer captain.
Oh,
She
that's
was the cheer
right.
captain.
Make sure you get that right. She was the
Yeah.
cheer captain.
And she's competing with someone else, and then
Tiffany.
they have a little tiff, and then they purposely don't catch her, and she ends up in a coma for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, she slams down on the gym floor, and boom, 20 years later, she's waking up in a hospital
So
bed.
we're talking about a well thought out plot line here.
Yeah.
She don't need no physical therapy or anything after
No,
this.
she
She's
gets
good
right
to
up.
go.
She's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Take her home the same day. Her dad's like, all right, let's go home.
Her biggest
Yeah.
worry is like, why are TVs like so flat and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, where the hell's the
The
back?
back of the TV is missing. Yeah.
She's seeing people with these iPhones and smartphones and stuff, and she's like, "What?" She busts out her like calculator or
Yeah,
whatever.
85 or 81
Her
calculator.
scientific calculator.
Yeah, so that's funny.
Yeah, well, and one thing this movie does big time, like it toes the line of wokeness and anti-wokeness, and just kind of puts it together, but does it without really offending anybody, right? So
It's very
I think they do a
smart
pretty good
how
job
it
with
handles that
Yeah.
situation without like they bring it up. And they might have some stuff they're trying to feed you, but it's done so smartly not to offend anyone.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, there's exaggerations on it, like, because,
Oh, yeah.
now the school is so, like, their cheer costumes now are all, like, gender neutral. They don't do the dancing, any kind of provocative dancing, and very inclusive. And it's kind of like, I mean, kind of where everyone talks these days about trying to go, but, like, a little over the top. with
Everyone
it.
on the
Yeah.
team is a cheer captain.
Yeah.
Like,
you know.
oh, well, I'm the cheer captain, and she's the cheer
Cheer
captain. He's-
I like how she checks off cheer captain. I'll take it.
She's like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
worked for
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then of course, like even the way it talks about words back then, like she's like, oh, I feel so retarded. She's in the her best friend, who is now the principal of school, like, no, you can't say that anymore. That offends people who have mental problems, right? You can't say that. She's like, what am I supposed to say? It's super gay. She's like,
Oh, no,
no, you can't say that either. Unless the person's actually gay and you're talking about the being gay, you can't say it.
Now here's the deal, though. Could you say those things in 2002?
I think so back then.
2002.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think you
know.
still say back then. 'Cause I was
You
a
probably
young Marine back then. I
could.
think we said that kind of stuff. We said a lot worse than that. But
Yeah, well,
Well,
that's
that's
you're
also
not
now,
a
but-
product of the 2000s, though.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know. I
probably
feel like
right where all that
that's
started changing.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, it's funny that she says that, and then like later on, her friend kind of lets her know that
she is gay, yeah.
she's gay, and she's like, oh, you can't say that unless like you're talking about.
oh, you are.
are.
you mean it? Yeah, you mean you're gay.
Yeah, I get that now. Okay.
But I will tell you, the main gay character in the show, who actually was flaming gay, and like everybody knew
Yes.
it. He was cool about it. Yes.
Yeah.
That kid was probably the best actor. I mean, he kind of stole the show in this, I think.
I'm Janet.
Yeah, and I'm Yaz, and that's Neil, and I just have to say, I'm really living for this little vintage fit, and I'm not even JKing. Okay?
Yeah.
That kid's character was
He
awesome.
did really well.
Freaking love that kid.
I love like when she first meets him and she's
And
talking about there's only
Janet.
3 ways to get popular, and she's like, one, you're taking it the back door or something like. He's like, well, I must be super popular.
That was funny.
And then Janet's like, huh? And he's like, oh,
No.
And I mean, it's a lot of funny moments. Like
Yeah,
even
yeah.
the cafeteria, it's like one long table. She's like, "Where are the cool kids sitting?" I'm like, everyone. Like, how
Everyone's
do you
cool,
know?
yeah.
Because there's just one table. Like, yeah, we're all cool.
But
I
then
guess.
they talk about. So the only thing I really didn't like that they weren't consistent with was the popular kid, because they say nobody's popular, everybody's popular kind of thing. But then
Right.
there's obviously the one untouchable, like Instagram famous person who happens to be the daughter
Yeah.
of Rebel's like former childhood rival with her former sweetheart.
yeah.
And she comes across very superficial influencer, like, I can't follow you on Instagram because, like, I have the limit of who I follow. Because if I follow you, then I have to follow someone else. And, like, she comes across that way. But then later on, they
totally flip-flop.
They
on that.
totally
Yeah.
flip-flop that, like, she acts like she's her mother and how her mother behaves. And then she, like, from one scene to the next, she's disgusted by how her mother behaves. And she's not
And
that person at all.
And they don't do enough character building on that character to
Right, to
explain why that
to
is.
flip that.
And that's an issue I have with the movie, is her character. There was not enough character building on that character to kind of explain why all of a sudden she's this sweetheart, towards
Right.
the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I mean, she flips like at one
From
point.
one
and
scene
it's
to the
kinda,
next.
Yeah, and it's like it's so sudden.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, wow. Okay, we're just moving past this into this now.
Right.
So, and they didn't like build that up really properly, if you ask me.
Right.
I mean, they were kind of like building up, but when the flip happens, it's just so
Yeah.
sudden.
One of the things they were
Yeah.
building it up between her and her mother,
Yeah.
like the arguments they were having, but they weren't building it up between her and Rebel Wilson's character, who they should have been building it between, because I mean, I don't understand that. Yeah,
And this movie does-
that kind of disappointed me a little bit.
This movie does have some flaws because she has the mind of like a 17-year-old or 18-year-old trapped in like a 37-year-old body, and sometimes you feel that, and other times you don't.
Yeah.
You feel like she's still totally an adult.
It feels like she's an old lady trying to like act young,
Trying to fit
more
in, yeah.
so than
Right.
this is like where her mindset is, and, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
I
not
agree.
very consistent sometimes. That even some of the jokes are like not very inconsistent. So she comes into school and meets a teacher that's her age and makes a Mr. T joke, and it's completely over his head. And I'm like, you're as old as she is.
Right.
Like you don't know
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
T.
true.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I thought
So
the
that's
exact
a
same
little
thing.
weird, and I get it was kind of funny, but like
pity the
everyone
fool.
knows who Mr. T is, and especially if you're as old as her, like why would she know
He
that and
actually
you
looked
don't?
like he could have been older. Like he definitely
Right.
should
Oh,
have
yeah.
known
yeah,
who
so,
Mr. T
so
is.
that was a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally should know who Miss T is.
And then she makes references to Tiger King, so she's using like modern references where I'm like, that should be kind of new to you, and you probably shouldn't be the one making those
Like
references.
you're
Right.
so
You know what I
new
mean?
to being awake and back in this world that the first thing that we showed you was Tiger King. Like, is that where?
Yeah, and I get there, like,
this
she
is what
has
you've
a
missed.
phone now,
But-
and she's all hooked on the phone, so maybe she could see that, but it's just a little inconsistent.
But of
which I
course,
think they're
this
trying
is a
to put out.
Netflix movie, so they're pitching a Netflix show, you know, so.
There you go.
The other thing is,
They do mention Netflix too.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
Netflix, and like she brought up Netflix, and I'm like, was Netflix in 2002? I guess it was. That was when they were mailing
probably.
Yeah, probably around
DVDs,
that
probably.
I mean, that might be the very early.
very beginnings of Net-
Blockbuster was doing
I'm
it
pretty
back then
sure
too, right?
because
So-
like I moved to Virginia in 2003, so yeah, I think it was, and I remember having the DVD Netflix thing.
And Blockbuster's around
Yeah.
there, and it's kind of odd that they would mention Blockbuster on a Netflix thing, I guess, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The other-
I honestly think they did it as like just a show, like, haha, we beat Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore because of us, right?
Well, I
So-
didn't feel that, but
Well, I didn't feel it either,
But
but
you know
but
what?
I think,
That's a good
but-
point. Was they put a Blockbuster in?
yeah, he changed his shirt to show like, yeah, they didn't survive, I guess. But
Right, exactly.
the other inconsistency is, she's putting out to all like the school essentially, I'm having a party and things like that. But her best friend, like president, and her librarian, like boyfriend guy, aren't aware of it. But later on, when she apologized, they're like all over like her social media and stuff. So like, wouldn't you have known that there was this? The whole school knows about this party, but they don't know.
It was a super
Right.
secret location.
Was it
That
though?
she-
Because the whole school was there.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
she said she would let them know if she became prom queen. Then that,
Yeah.
or if you showed your ballot, then she would let you
Yeah.
know where it was.
So by the way,
Like,
so
that's how she
I
put
think
it
what we
up.
failed to mention here is the school librarian and the high school principal are her two best friends from high school when she was in high school.
Very convenient.
Now they both grown up. Now they both grown up. One's a principal and the other one's a librarian. Sam Richardson is librarian, and her female best friend is
who
principal.
was in a relationship. It just didn't work out.
Didn't work out with,
You know.
with some other hot blonde, you know. So
Yeah.
okay, and he worked in the archives in D.C. before he took the job as a high school librarian.
Yeah. You know. Change of careers.
Yeah, so you think
Sometimes
there
it's
was
needed.
any other flaws you guys noticed? Or
there's-
anything you didn't like in general?
I mean, there was plenty, but
Now,
again,
I don't know. Like, I do love, like, the subtle things that you guys may not have picked up on. Like, when she got into her, like, he kept her old car, and she found her keys to the old car, and there were, like, 1,000 keychains on the keys. Because I don't know if you, like, as guys, you probably didn't do it, but girls, like, we collected those keychains, especially from, like, Spencer's or
Right, yeah.
Hot Topic, and, like, we just had all these keys. I remember getting lectured as a kid.
That's very sexually
Or is it-
inconsiderate of you, actually.
I remember getting lectured by
Sorry.
people saying you
Sorry,
can't
we're
put
guys,
you
we don't know.
can't put that into the car because it's going to put all this weight on your where your key goes in and like tear your like.
In your emission.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
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 She
I
had
gotta
the
push button now.
Jansport like backpack and all that
so
kind of
she,
stuff.
I do
so-
like that those subtle things. Like when I saw
Yeah.
that keychain, I was like, oh man,
Well-
I had that keychain with all those charms and like buttons on
one of the
it.
other funny thing is too that they threw on there was so she starts her own Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. She's trying to figure out how to be a good influencer, and once she finally puts a video out that all of a sudden she has like 50,000 subscribers overnight, then she's getting shit mailed to her from everybody. Like all these companies are mailing
Yeah.
her crap. Like, hey,
Like,
try
it's that
20, like
easy.
20, like,
She's giving away Ray-Bans
like
and
Twinkies and
stuff.
Ray-Ban, right, all this crap.
I do love that when she's down and she's at the house of Janet. And they're talking about, she's like, we got to bring dancing
that
back.
was
We
awesome.
got to bring the dancing back. And they're like, I don't know. And then she's like, yeah, let me show you. And so they start doing this dance and they're showing the dance. And they play this like magical like dance video like they're actually making like an MTV,
Britney
video.
Spears video.
Yeah, Britney
Yeah.
Spears crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And
of course, it all looks all professional. They're all dancing in their gear.
The wind's blowing, and I mean, they're dancing like really good. And then the dad comes down with the pizza, and they're all just like humping furniture. That was hilarious.
He comes down with the DiGiorno. It's like, what is happening here?
Oh, and especially because they're either Indian or Pakistani. So just imagine that guy walking down and seeing his daughter dry humping a couch and all his kids doing his crap. He's probably like, what?
But I do like that whole like image of like she sees it this way, and then it's actually this.
I mean, this is a fun light movie, so you do forgive it for a lot of stuff. There's this house that she, like her dream house, and she's telling her dad to drive by, and he keeps driving because he doesn't want her to see like her former boyfriend living there with like her
high school rival.
Yeah, and then she just jumps out of the car because he won't stop.
Yeah.
So there's some funny moments like that are kind of
and there's a lot of cheese in this movie.
But,
you know, a lot of cheesy stuff in this movie, and but
you know what? The other thing I don't like is that there doesn't seem to be any like the Tiffany girl who told those people to like not catch her and have her drop. There was no fallout for that for her. Like she's still like
right.
She then became cheer captain. She became prom queen, and then she married this girl's boyfriend, and like.
Well, and the fact
no
that
one cares.
Not only did the two girls not catch her, but they pushed the dude away and was supposed to catch her too, right? So he couldn't catch her. So it was like,
and they're like, no one's gonna investigate that and say like,
and he was on video.
Yeah. So watching these two twins push this guy out of the way to make sure she doesn't catch this girl is like,
but no, it's fine. She's still now this hot mom, popular.
It was the early 2000s. Okay,
you
get
could
away
do
with that.
Like that. Yeah,
you get away with almost murdering somebody.
But
in high school.
It's like he didn't grow as a character. Like they don't really show him that much, actually. Her former.
Yeah, before I mean, a little bit.
But you can tell. You do realize that he ain't a good guy.
No, he's a dirtbag.
Yeah, but he's still hot.
He has some funny scenes, like when they first bust out the new cheer. He's like, yeah.
He's like,
I'm a dad.
He's like, fuck yeah, Bulldogs.
Yeah! Bulldogs, fuck yeah! Yeah! Woo! They brought it back. I am a father.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And then the whole, like, I guess when the daughter comes home and is calling, because she has now rebelled against her mom, and her mom's wishes for her to be like this influencer, and she's like, no, I'm on team. What is Rebel's character's name? Stephanie. Team Stephanie now, and then she's like, it's not all about being fake on Insta, like you guys are miserable. And she's like, we're not miserable. And yeah, we are.
The husband, we're miserable.
Yeah, we are. It's like, oh wait, who said that?
Or there's a conversation where he's like trying to get Rebels and have sex with him. The way he talks to her, there's a little kind of incest in you that goes on there, and you're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
I still have a naughty thing for prom quits, right?
Yeah, well, if I don't get enough votes, you might be fucking your daughter.
Huh? No, wouldn't do that. But
No, obviously. Sorry.
Talk like that.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed the comedy in it. I enjoyed the way they towed the line, between wokeness and anti-wokeness, how they just kind of made fun of it from both angles. I thought it was just a slow build up in this movie, though. I thought it was just kind of a slow build up, and and they left a lot of the character building out, for some of the characters that we talked about. So I thought it was okay.
Don't forget the movie scene either. The movie theater.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
that
she's
was
trying
fun.
to make
With
him
Sam
jealous.
Richardson.
Yeah, with Sam Richardson. My problem with the character of Sam Richardson at that point is like he really sees, like he always liked
That's
this
her,
girl,
No,
and
he's been in love with her.
Yeah, and now she's
He was
clearly
really enjoying that moment.
Yeah, he was enjoying it. He's like playing along with it, and I'm like, I don't know that he really would have done that, but okay.
Right. Well, he flat out told her though when they walked out. He's like, "Look, I know exactly what you're doing there, but whatever."
Right. He's like,
it was fun. It was fun
with
because he doesn't like Tiffany either, right? So he's like, "Yeah, we got." So that was pretty damn funny. She's like grabbing this straw up and down. And he's like, "Oh."
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you rate it?
So again, I thought it was an okay movie. Like I said, there was a lot of character development that just wasn't there. It started off kind of slow, and just some of the stuff that happened in it, kind of we've already talked about. Like, really, would it, I'm gonna give it a 6. So I didn't think it was a great movie. I mean, I'm glad I watched it later. Like I said, it started off kind of slow, and I was kind of not digging it. And then finally, as it started progressing, I was like, okay, all right, cool. And I was laughing quite a bit, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
I would also give it a 6, and my main reason is it's the beginning part, like you talked about the beginning part of it. These types of movies where they taught, you basically have a coming of age of like you think like the character is going one direction with their personality and their behavior, and then it's like a come to Jesus moment, and like, oh well, maybe I should be more friendly and attentive to the people who are there for me kind of thing. The way they like dramatized that in the beginning, and it was like blatantly obvious that she was oblivious to who her friends were and who, like, it was kind of cringy, like how blatant that was. So I give it a 6 for that, but it was entertaining.
I give it a 7. I actually enjoyed this movie. I wasn't bored with it at all. I mean, there are some plot devices that need to tighten up, especially when near the end with the prom queen situation. I thought that came like way too sudden. But I was really entertained. I loved like the little callbacks to the 2000s and 90s. I really enjoyed that. And if you watch it with someone and you're discussing that, I think you're having an even better time. Yeah. This is very similar to 13 going on 30. I think that movie is a little tighter as far as the story and the plot than this one, but it has that sort of like feel to it. I mean, they're both in the same kind of genre of movies, and I enjoy both those. And I'm giving this a 7. I liked it.
There.
Well, there you go, folks. Senior year.
Check it out, Netflix.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. Even though I gave it a 6, it's still worth checking out.
Yeah.
You'll definitely get some laughs at it at the very least. Rebel Wilson does a great job. She's funny.
Alicia Silverstone is in this.
Alicia Silverstone is there for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You'll see her.
What'd you guys think about that real quick?
I thought it was cool to see her in it,
I hadn't seen her in a while.
If they had made
so
her name Cher in this, that'd have been perfect, right? They'd given her the name Cher, like for Clueless, that'd have been like, oh, that's just perfect. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. But
she's been in other things recently.
I haven't seen her, really.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing her.
I felt like she got into like a time machine and like, but aged like, at the same time.
Like a Blast from the Past?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Now that's a good one.
There you go.
All right.
Did that for you.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. We hope you liked it. If you did, hit like and subscribe, and please tell us what you think about this movie. Is this how you'd want to spend your waking up when you're 37 years old after 20 years in a coma? Would you want to go back to high school?
I don't.
Billy. Yeah. I don't think I would, but hey, maybe there's plenty of people out there that maybe would. But anyway, we will check you guys in our next review, and thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
That's it. Hoe bags. This is the hoe bag table.
Invited to this thing.
Yeah.
You're inviting me to my own party.
Exactly.
So you do realize you just invited me to the party at my house.
Yeah.
Perfect. You tell me, look at that. You can't get no better than this.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Yeah, I did the same thing. So I did quicker.
Oh,
no!
That was beautiful.
You screwed it up. It's on the table, Josh! It's on the table. Yeah.
Oh, my hat was all dorked up. Guys, come on.
All right, fix that, man.
Would you...
Isn't there other movies similar to this?
Yeah, it's called Mr. Destiny. 13 going on 30?
13 going on 30 probably is the best relatable because she never grew up.
Right.
All the other ones were like adults and then they get swapped back into a child body. Yeah.
Matt
thinks
Perry
she's 17.
was he transformed into Zac Efron.
Yes, but he was an adult when he did it.
And then you Woo! Man, I almost spilled it.
Yeah, Billy, you almost gave me a heart attack. I would have been like, nuclear. Can you do a nuclear explosion?
Pre-annoyed. How come you don't just try to make me like happy before I come
You
in?
make me happy.
Pre-annoyed. I like that term.
Pre-annoyed?
I think you just made it up. It's pretty cool. I like that.
Don't give it credit. Give me credit for that. Give anyone credit. Give it to
I'll give you credit for being the one that got me to the pre-annoyed.
Exactly. It was all me. It was my doing.
That's right. So Josh gives credit for the new word.